What is going on, guys? Today I have a crazy transformation for you guys. My client Michael has been missing for about 1.5 years, not actually missing, but he has not been in the barber chair for 1.5 years at least. You guys can see absolutely how crazy his hair is looking. I was looking for a transformation, so today we're gonna get creative on him and give him a super cool creative cut. I'm not even sure exactly what I'm gonna do yet, but let's hop right into the video and find out. All right, guys, so he has so much hair, we're just gonna go ahead and get some out of the way. So I'm just gonna pretty much pull some chunks out and cut some hair off and get us something to work with so we can start getting him, you know, some kind of style here. All right, guys, so I have the hair saturated. I have his crown. I had to kind of shake it out and find the crown. Now I'm gonna go from his crown up to his recession in the corner. Just wanna kind of see how the hair naturally lays. I'm gonna kind of let it fall. And I can see that some of this hair is falling down to the side, so we'll comb that to the side. And we just wanna work with his growth pattern to make sure that none of the hair is fighting what we're trying to make it do. So now we'll take this section up. We'll do the same thing on the other side, clip this up out of the way, and we can start on the sides. All right, guys, so we're gonna start in the back. I wanna find his occipital. You guys see if I take my comb and pivot it, I can see where it comes off the head about right here. And that is where we're gonna cut in our first weight line. So I'm taking all this hair down. My finger is against the head. I'm gonna cut that line in. I'll slowly work it just a little bit this way, and then I will turn the camera so you guys can see, and we will also work it just a little bit the other direction. And this is gonna be our foundation that's gonna connect to the clipper work underneath and also to the scissor work on top. All right, so on the sides, guys, same thing. We're gonna use the comb to tilt out. I can see that about right here is where his head starts to round in, and that is where we want our weight line. So here's the guideline that we cut in the back. I'm gonna start right above the ear. That's gonna be our widest point. Same thing, fingers against the head. The hair underneath is not gonna be as important. We're gonna cut that off. So I'm gonna cut that line in. While it's in my fingers, I'll grab the next section, comb it out, get a good grip on it, and we will go towards the back and connect into the line that we cut before. So you guys can see short back here. I basically just pivot my fingers out to connect that together, cut it towards the back, and then we'll work up to the front corner, do the same thing on the other sides. All right, guys, so if you haven't seen my videos before, I like to basically section this down the middle. If somebody does have a crazy growth pattern and it's obviously fighting, I will go with the growth pattern, but we're gonna section it down the middle. That is gonna connect it to our sides, and then we'll have one small section to cut on top after we get done with that. All right, guys, so pretty simple. I'm not sure what kind of length we're gonna have because we did cut his top the way that we did to start. But basically, I'm gonna pull it straight out from the side. I'm gonna take my scissors, pull the hair up, and I can see the guide underneath. And I'm just gonna cut that, and that is connecting the length on top to that guide that we started with on the side. So I'll work my way from the back up towards the ear. And then once we get to the ear, we have a decision to make. And the more I elevate it here, the softer it's gonna lay. The more I take it down to the weight line, the heavier it's gonna lay. So now we're to the ear and we have a decision to make. Do we want the front to get longer? Do we wanna cut it square like this? Do we wanna round in and give him that crop top front? I'm gonna cut it just straight. I'm gonna basically follow that line straight out. It's gonna leave us some length in the front because this hair is coming all the way over to here. And then we can leave it in the front and then kind of clean it up afterward. Once the cut's done, we can decide what we really want to do with it. So I'm just going to leave the length for now. So again, straight out, you can see my guide back here. We'll cut it straight up. If it was a crop top, guys, I would just kind of round with this head shape and tuck that crop right up into the front. But you guys can see here, I'm going to just pull it out, basically pivot out and follow that line all the way through the front. So we'll do the same thing on the other side. I can work back through if I want, just to double check, make sure it's nice and neat. And then we'll move on to the last section on top. All right, guys, so some people have a hard time understanding this, but when we parted down the middle and we took it to both sides, this hair in the middle went all the way to the edge, so it's gonna be our longest point. So we should, when we pick this up, have a peak in the middle. You guys will see it here in a second. We'll go ahead. I'm gonna start in the back just to keep hair out of my way. I'm just gonna section straight across and pull a small section up. And you guys should see, basically it's going like that and going back down, and we're just gonna cut it straight across. We'll work from back to front. See, now I can pull that section out of the way, go in front of it, grab the next section, pull it up. You guys see it is longest in the middle. Cut straight across. Sometimes you gotta re-grip this. You guys will see I still have kind of a high point right here. We'll touch that up. Again, I can pull that back out of the way. Take the next section and we'll work all the way to the front. Then we'll add a little bit of texture before we move on to the back. All right guys, so now that I have my desired length, I'm just gonna add some texture. I'm gonna pull it straight up, get a good grip on it. I'm gonna leave about an inch, 3/4 of an inch sticking out, come in at a 45-degree angle, and we're just gonna cut some deep V point cuts into it. Take the next section, again, straight up. And you guys use your comb to kind of pull it straight. And you guys can come in and just do some deep point cutting just to add texture to it. And guys, I did just drop a detailed video on that not too long ago. If you guys want to see kind of my walkthrough or my breakdown, I guess, on how to do this. A lot of people are scared of it. A lot of people think, you know, they're gonna cut their fingers so they don't do it. It takes a long time to learn. Really not that difficult, and you guys aren't cutting a ton of hair when you do this. So you can just slow down, take your time. All right guys, so I'm looking at the back. I was just telling him I didn't know how his hair was gonna lay. It was so long when he came in. So I figured I would just start to cut and kind of see what it does. And I'm seeing this nice curl at the bottom. So I'm gonna start in the middle. I'm gonna take a section. I'm gonna start up high because it is so short at the top. We're gonna pull it out and just the hair right under it. And you guys will see, because we pulled it down, it's actually gonna be the longest up here. But I'm gonna go to the shortest part right here underneath my fingers. And we're just gonna cut straight down towards the bottom. And as we get to the bottom, I'm gonna pivot out and leave it basically where it is at right now. So you can see my guide again. Come in, cut down towards the bottom. One more small panel at the bottom, pull it out, and you can see where it's gonna fall out at the top where we already cut. Here's our guide. I'm gonna pivot out to where the length is at the bottom that I want. We'll just follow that down, cut that line in, and we should have a nice little curl down here at the bottom. So I'm gonna work that down one side, back the other way. All right guys, so we got all the scissor work completed. We're gonna come in, I'm gonna start off with a number 4. This is on my Low Pro FX, and we're just gonna clean up this side. I wanna basically leave the back and connect in. So one of the ways I like to use my clipper to start off, guys, and where we set our scissor work foundation, I should be able to come right in with this 4, straight up off the head. I'm not gonna round into the top, I'm gonna come straight up off the top, cut into that line that we cut in with our scissors, and you guys see we'll get a nice connection to the top while preparing our side to a number 4, and then we can come in and do whatever type of cut we want to do on the side, a taper, or you know, we're not going to do a fade obviously on this cut because we are leaving the back pretty long. But this sets us up. We're going to cut this down to a 4, and we'll be able to come in and do whatever we want. So I'm going to go ahead and fade down, guys. I went straight to a number 3. I'm going to go right underneath where I just went. So you see I knocked that hair out of the way. I want to comb it back forward because I don't really want to affect that. I'm trying to cut right into the 4. We're gonna do 4, 3, 2. Get our side cut down to a 2, and then we'll come in with our bald line and kind of determine what kind of shape we want to give the fade or the taper portion of this cut. All right guys, so you can see the shape of the weight that we left, and I'm gonna mimic that exactly with my guideline. So I basically come from the back of the ear like I was lining it up. We're gonna go to the corner of the C cup. Now I just have to connect those 2 points together. So finger against the head, I will just pivot my trimmer right to that guideline. Boom, that landed perfect. So now the guideline's in, we'll go ahead and bald all this out, come in with our shaver, get it all the way down to skin, and then we can start with our couple of fade steps that we have. We just gotta fade up to a 2, and we'll be done with side number 1. All right guys, so the next step is the lever all the way up, and we're gonna go up about a 1/2 inch. You guys can see the shape here. We're gonna follow the same shape with our open guideline. So I get that started. We'll come back here. On the back side behind the ear, guys, you just have to use a few teeth. We can't cut this way because the hair is growing down. So we're gonna cut up like this, just like we did our bald guideline, and just connect into this first open section guideline that we have. And I ain't gonna lie, guys, I haven't cut his hair clearly in 2 years, but man, that's already looking pretty blended. So I'm not gonna have to do a whole lot. So we're just gonna start with the clipper all the way closed at the bottom. I'm using very little teeth. I just wanna make sure I'm being precise. I didn't give myself a ton of room, so I'm just gonna use the corners. And really here, guys, we're just looking for it to look good. So like I said, it already almost looks blended. So I'm not gonna do more than I have to. There's my closed. I'm gonna go straight to half open. Go halfway into the section. And already, guys, I can tell you that I think it's gonna be good. I'm not gonna do a whole lot more. Go ahead and move our way up. And then once the whole fade is done, if we see anything, we can work our way back down and polish it up and make sure, you know, that it looks how we want. So back here, I see a little spot, so I opened it back up. I wanna make sure that the top of this section is consistent as well. And now we can move on to the open one. All right, one guard all the way open. Remember, guys, we did a 2. We started with a 4, 3, 2. So all we have to do is blend into a 2. So again, not a huge guideline here, same shape. And you guys should see this kind of start to flow together. So obviously we still have a few more guards to use, but you guys should see this fade start to connect a little bit. And then we will come in and take these last few lines out that we have left. All right, guys, just to make sure that we're good, I'm gonna come back with my 2. I see just a little bit of a ridge here, and I'm just gonna kind of soften it up before I come in with the 1.5. I did not want to grab the 1.5 and kind of come in here and cut it more than I want to. So just for safety, I'm using the 2, and then we'll come in with the 1.5, and that will be one of the last lines. After the 1.5, we'll come in with the half guard, and this side will be done. Now we're in with a 1.5. Guys, it is halfway open. That's gonna be our sweet spot. If you guys haven't seen me fade before or explain my fade system, guys, the half and the 1.5 are only intended to be used in between the guards that they go in between. So you guys saw we did an open 1, we did a closed 2, and the 1.5 is intended to be used in between those 2. So there's gonna be a line there that you're just not gonna be able to get out, and the 1.5 is specifically made to take that out. Same thing with the half guard. There's a line above the open section and the closed 1 that is just not gonna come out. You guys are gonna need the half guard. And when you use it halfway open, it is gonna hit that sweet spot that is gonna blend those together. So after we get done with this 1.5, we will come in with our half and take that last line out. Now I know I just said our half, but I just realized we haven't used our 1 closed yet. And so we're gonna use our 1 closed. And his hair blends so nice, guys. This may actually get us pretty close to being finished. But like I said, there should still be just a little hint of a line that we're gonna need that half guard for. So we'll come in with it next and get anything that's left behind, and we'll see how this side's looking. All right, guys, last but not least, the half open. And like I said, it is just gonna hit that sweet spot. You guys see a couple dark spots right here. The half guard is gonna go right through that, lighten that up, and we'll be done. All right, guys, so while I'm up here, I'm just gonna get his hair out of the way. We're just gonna hit his vertical bar. I wanna make sure that all that hair is out of the way before I come in and edge it up. So I wanna make it sharp while taking off as little as possible. And I think his haircut's gonna turn out sick. So we'll go ahead and move on to the other side, and then we'll work on the finished style when we get done with that. All right, guys, so we're gonna do the same exact thing on this side. Start off with the number 4. Same guideline, same fade. And when we get done with this, we will detail kind of the lineup and figure out exactly what we want to do in the back. So I will get together with you guys when we get to that point. All right, guys, so I have this fringe wetted down. I just kind of wanted to see what it's wanting to do. I see this solid piece right here that's really coming towards the middle. So I'm gonna kind of give him a piece like I have in my hair. I'm gonna kind of pull some of this out and then find out kind of where it's the thickest, and we're gonna pull all that to the side. Now I'm just gonna clean this up. We're gonna make it a little bit messy. Just gonna pull it out, get a hold of it, pull it down a little bit. I don't wanna take it too short. You just have a little bit of a cowlick in the front, or at least where his hair was laying from being so long, it's kind of wanting to split. So I don't wanna go too short and give him kind of a silly looking front. But now I will take that, work it straight across the front to the other side, and then we can detail this accent piece on this side, kind of see how it wants to lay and make it tie into the rest of the haircut. Now you guys can see where the weight line is. I'm basically gonna carry that through to this line that we just cut. Now I'm gonna do basically the same thing here, guys, except I'm gonna go from this weight line to the point just to accentuate that point. So I'm finding my longest piece, kind of how we pivoted it out. There's my short, there's my long. Just gonna cut that in and connect it to the side, and that'll give us kind of an accent piece in the front. And I told him I was gonna give him a regular haircut after we got done, but we'll see how he likes it. We may cut this little piece off in the front, but I just wanted to give him a little flavor. All right guys, so now we're pretty much done with the cut. I'm gonna enhance his vertical bars, guys. I have the Tomb 45 clutch card. That is my invention. It's just a stencil. So I'm gonna slide it over to where his hairline is. I have Tomb 45 no drip black brown because his hair is a little bit brown. And we're just gonna slowly mist it onto his vertical bar. Now a little goes a long way. So you wanna spray some, take it off, put it back on. A little bit more. We just want to darken this up because he does have such light hair. We just want to kind of make this front hairline pop a little bit. I'm trying to stay out of your guys' way so you can see what we're doing. Just add a little bit there. Now once we style it and tie everything into it, that should look nice. All right guys, so same thing on this side. We'll just use the stencil. All right guys, so I'm looking at the back. I'm trying to decide what I want to do. My original idea was to kind of have this flip out that we have here, and I'm going to kind of V the bottom to clean it up a little bit, and this will be kind of our accent point at the ends of the bottom. So I'm going to come in with my trimmer and just start to shape that, and then we'll leave all this in the corner. So I'm just going to come kind of to the middle. Actually, I'm going to start on the edge where I can see the curl that I want to leave, and we're just going to start to kind of shape that in. Obviously we can't put it back on, guys, so I want to go little by little. And this is why these Sabres are the best trimmer on the market. You saw them just crunch through all that hair, no problem. And most trimmers will not do that, so. All right guys, so it is so heavy in the middle here because originally I was going to leave it kind of all flipping out. So I'm going to basically try to not affect the edges and come in and just cut this bottom down so we can get a nice clean line on it. Basically connect into what's above. And as we get out towards that flipping out part, we will make sure that we leave it alone because we do want to make sure that we maintain that so it flips out right there on the corner. But you guys can see that softened up that bottom line, and now I can come in and really make sure it's sharp. All right guys, so I re-wet the hair. I'm gonna apply some Tomb 45 indestructible clay all throughout. I wanna get it through the top. I'm gonna run it through the back here just so we can get some visible texture on our little pieces here on the corner. We're gonna go ahead and put some in there. And then as we blow dry, it's gonna bring the style to life. It's gonna actually help work the product through the hair. So once we get that in, we can come in with our blow dryer and start to get this finished style together. All right guys, so I'm not gonna talk through the blow dry, but I'm basically gonna just work with my vent brush, work all this hair forward and start to move it around and give it some texture. As it starts to dry, pull that texture out. We're gonna work the back down, and I'll just kind of use my fingers to pull these pieces out. We might bust the diffuser out once the hair starts to get dry and give it that nice finished look. All right guys, that is it for the finished cut. Little crop on top, not even really a mullet in the back. Nice little V in the back with a little flip out on the sides. But that is it guys. If you guys want to see another cut similar to this, click that video right there and make sure you guys check it out. If you did like it, smash that thumbs up and leave me a comment down below and let me know what you guys think.